These are the last 3 of the 5 puppies. Caesar, Luxor, and Vdara. You remember them? They're 7 years. I still can't get over 7 years. 7 years ago, they were these puppies. Wow. How old was I 7 years? Never mind. I have a lot to say here. I'm going to have to read some of my notes because I don't want to get sued. But I figured out something. I did a little research. It's pretty bad. And I'm going to tell you all about it while I'm visiting my 3 7-year-olds. 8 is 2025. Yeah, 7-year-old. So anyway, they're in a nice big yard, but a couple of them we found out have lupus. So they, their nose and stuff. So we've got to keep them out of the sun. So ultimately, we're going to get a shaded yard. It'll be smaller than this one. They're also getting older, so they don't need to run around as much like when they were pups. So I'll find them a nice shaded yard. I have an idea, and they'll like it because they're going to be around more people, especially driving in and out. This is kind of out here. It's our bigger yards, more remote. I mean, from the price, it's a big property, 115 acres. So at any rate, they're beautiful view. Beautiful view of the forest. Yeah. So let me get in there and set up, and they're in the shade. They're trying to stay naturally shaded, which is good. They're smart. This is one video. I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to implore you to share this video with absolutely everybody you know or don't know who have pets. You got to hear this because this is going to resonate with you. And I'm in shock, but I'm gonna tell you about it. You've lived it. You're living it now. And when I tell you what's going on, you're going to freak. We got to do something about it. It's got to be federal level, and we've got to break this up. The old airlock. Beautiful outcropping here. Huh? Look at this beautiful rock. I'm gonna have to find a flat spot here. Yeah, they're gonna do better in a smaller yard with shade. Well, I have to find a level spot, not a flat spot. Let's see. They were much younger when I brought them here. Careful, this is really slippery. I know. You want some treats? Here. Give me, I give you treats. I give you treats. Here you go. Here you go. There you go. Yeah, there we go. This is an Armenian Gemper. This boy here. The sad thing is, they raise them for food in Asia. We are the fungus of the earth. Hi, kids. Hi, kids. Oh, nice. Nice and flat. Nice and flat. I'm going to set it up this way. I'll set it up a little angled, a little this way even. So we'll pick them up. Hi, kids. Luxor, Caesar, Vdara, come here, babies. Come here. Gotta tempt them. They wonder what we're doing. Want some treats? Here. Oh, yeah, treats. Treats. Whoop. Luxor. Luxor, come on. Come on. He's the shy one. Luxor's the shy one. Maybe if my back is turned, he'll come down. Oh, yeah. Ay, ay. I have no idea what they're doing. But no, they should come down. Okay. So, Luxor, Vdara, Caesar, they were part of the litter of 5 when I call them the casino dogs because I named them after the strip, the casinos on the strip. Everybody was out of names. We had to name them fast. Okay, so let me talk while you're looking at the dogs. We have our own animal hospital. We've had our own hospital from the beginning. We have our own veterinarian. Used to have a lot of veterinarians coming and going till we found the right one. Anyway, so by having our own veterinarian, we know what everything costs. We know that a vaccine, I don't know what they cost now, but a few years ago they were $2. Maybe they're $3. At most they're $5. So you go to a feed store, they have a shot clinic once a month or something on a Saturday. Take your dogs in for a shot, maybe they charge you $15. Well, I'm not going to tell you, you can tell me what your vet is charging you for a vaccination. That costs them $3 to $5 at most. What is he charging you for vaccination? We have all these dogs, cats to vaccinate, so naturally we get everything at cost. So once in a while we have to go outside to an outside specialist, a cancer specialist or a bone specialist. When we do, the sticker shock is amazing. We get a computer printout, and the line items on the printout are every little thing. 2 syringes, $10. Wait a minute, those cost about 25 cents. It's just incredible. We see the line item and go, oh my God. Look what they're charging us. Well, guess what? That's what they're charging you. And why are they doing it that way? I remember when I started, I had a veterinarian that, back in the late 70s, he was making $500,000 a year in his practice, so that'd be $4 or $5 million today. He gave treatment for free. If somebody came in with a sick dog or cat, they could not afford it, he gave it to them. He gave them bottles of pills for free. And then other people he charged normal rates. It was normal veterinary rates. And he had so much volume that he had business like crazy. So sticker shock, when I see what people are paying, I say, why? Why are this? And then I figured out, aha. So what has happened is certain veterinary corporations, see, people figured out where's the market. They always look for where's the market. Well, here's a market that was untapped till a few years ago. People who love their pets. People who treat their pets as children. People who will do anything to help their pet, to save their pet. Well, that's a market. Those people will pay anything to save their animal. Thousands and tens of thousands. We should get in there. We could get investors and make a shitload of money, and that's what they've done. That's what they've done. These companies have bought up your local veterinarian, and he can't help it in a sense, I would say it's greed, but it's more than that, it's survival. The vet looks around. It's hard for him to make a living all by himself. The company comes in and they pay him a lot of money for his practice. And then they raise the prices like crazy. They charge for everything, and they tell him he could work a 3-day week and get $5,000 a day. So he goes for it. And these companies went around and bought up most of the practices. They're bought up. I'm going to name the companies. Companies that bought up practices so they could charge you a fortune and make money off of your love for your animal. This is pure greed. Pure greed. You got one of the companies is VCA, Veterinary Corporations of America. You see a VCA hospital, you're paying through the nose. You're having to follow their rules. You're having to do everything that they say. If your cat or dog comes in for a specific thing, we know what it is. We treat it here. Well, they have to get tests and x-rays, blood tests, sometimes ultrasound. They make you take all these tests, even though they know what it is, because that's the bottom line for them. Charging you all the money for all the tests to get to the conclusion that they had when you walked in, if they're a real vet. And that's how they make their money. So VCA, Banfield, you know Banfield, those nice people that are in PetSmart and everything. Yeah, that's another one of them. There's Blue Pearl. There's a bunch of others. Now, here's the real shame of this. Not only did they buy up all these practices to make money, but these big corporations sold. They sold their companies to two companies, Mars Candy and JAB. Now, JAB runs NVA, which is a vertically oriented veterinary business. They own Chewy. They own pet food companies. They own vertically stuff that you would buy for your pet. They're all private equity firms, and they only care about bottom line, making money for the investors. Who are they milking? They're milking people who love their animals. It's a shame. It's got to stop. There's a monopoly going on here. They even own the pet. What I told you about JAB, they also own the pet insurance companies. So you're paying them in advance for veterinary medicine. And then, of course, you have your deductible. And they pay their vets handsomely. I know vets that make $10,000 a day. I mean, I know of them. So this is what has to stop. This has to be federal action. The way they broke up AT&T for monopoly, they've got all kinds of things going on here. You got Sherman Antitrust, you got this, you got that. You know, in 1989, we took the Humane Society of the United States to federal court for antitrust and a bunch of things, because we have animals, they do not. So they were trying to get us shut down because I had all these animals and they didn't have any. And they knew that if we got promoted ourselves, we would beat the hell out of them because they don't have any animals. Hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And no animals. Where's the money go? In their pocket. So they hit us hard. They told lies about us. I sued them. I took them to federal court. Hit them with all kinds of stuff, antitrust and what have you. So the 9th District out here in California made a ruling. And they said, you know, you're right. They are all these things. And this is what Congress enacted laws about back in the 30s or something. But when they enacted these laws, they were up against, or they were fighting, I should say, for-profit corporations. Humane Society of the United States is a non-profit corporation. So the laws do not apply to them. And the way they worded it, they said basically, if we put up a lot of money and went to the Supreme Court, we could overturn this and we could shut HSUS down from their practices. But it would cost a lot of money and take years, so we never did it. Talked to some other group, nobody cared. It's that kind of action, though, that needs to happen here. Mars and JAB have to get taken apart by the federal government, and then the little guys under them, the Blue Pearls, the Banfields, the VCAs, all those companies that made veterinary medicine a corporate bottom line, private equity, supposed to be caring about animals like a doctor cares about people, Hippocratic oath and all that. You're supposed to care about the animals. And no more, it's about private equity. How much money can we take from this poor son of a bitch who loves his animal so much? He'll pay $20,000 for this one. Yeah, he can get it somewhere else for one, but he'll pay 20. This has to stop. This has to stop. What am I going to do about it? Well, let me say, if you pass this video around, get it to everybody you know, and keep your ear to the ground, you'll be finding out some things. So just tell all your friends, we know what's going on. They should write to their congressman, they should write to their senator. Talk about Mars and JAB having bought up all these private equity, the so-called veterinary clinics, the Blue Pearls, the Banfields, the VCAs, and etc. And JAB having owning the pet insurance, the pet food, Chewy. Chewy gives prescriptions, you know. If you get a veterinarian to give a prescription, Chewy will fulfill it. Gee, isn't that wonderful? Think about that. One of their veterinarians in one of their corporate deals has a prescription for you, and he'll tell you to go to Chewy, not the local pharmacy, not your CVS or Rite Aid. He'll tell you to go to Chewy because it's just for pets. They own that too. Sort of like Big Pharma in this country. They give you food that makes you sick so that they can sell you medicine to alleviate the symptoms of what your sickness is. You don't cure anything, you alleviate symptoms. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year for medicine you don't need if you just got to the cause and stopped it. Eat the right food, stop eating this bad stuff. Live a certain way, change your lifestyle, not what they tell you it should be, but what you ultimately learn it should be. So let me look at my notes here. Let's look at the notes. You know, I knew years ago that 80% of Americans, 80, never in their lifetime go to a veterinarian. It's got to be in the high 90s now. It's got to be in the high 90s because we have a lot of illegal aliens in the country, like 25 million, some places say 40 million. We've got people who'll never go, they're the ones throwing out the animals too. I mean, they're not going to go to the vet. But then given the vet prices, you got to say 80%, so 20% of Americans went to the vet. How many now have to choose? Food on the table, pay the rent or the mortgage, or take my poor animal who's suffering over in the corner and shivering, take him to the vet. They're going to charge me $1,500 just to tell me, here, take these pills. And a lot of times they're the wrong pills. They die anyway because they don't really know medicine well. They know profits. I think I've said it all for now, except that we need an action to break this up like they broke up AT&T so that all these little companies could get in there and compete. Well, all the private vets. Now, another message to all the private vets out there. Remember why you got into this. You got into this to help animals. Because as a youngster, you loved animals and you wanted to do something to help them. And you said, you know, I love animals so much. I'd make a great veterinarian. Yeah, you would. And then you had to put up with business practices. You had to put up with laws. Oh, I got another one I just remembered, yeah. You had to put up with all this stuff in your practice. Labor laws, lawsuits from people who are these bottom feeder lawyers. A lot of real lawyers who respect the law and went into it because they love law. They don't like these people either. But I saw a billboard and I know the owner of the company. I know the guy who owns the company that put this billboard up. The law firm. He happens to be the mayor of a big city, as well as being the owner of this law firm that makes a lot of money. They put up billboards every time they get a verdict. I saw this verdict yesterday. I said, I wish I could take a picture and put it on Fox News so that everybody could see it. Their billboard is, they have the record judgment in the United States for a slip and fall. You know, some klutz that falls down at work. Oh, now I could sue the company, or fakes it. Slip and fall. 58 million. 58 million for a klutz who fell at somebody's work. 58 million. The insurance might cover the first million. Whatever the final judgment is, it's not 58 million. The judge will decide. So it might get lowered to 10 million. But the point is, the company that took the hit has to pay the money, which means a lot of them will be out of business. This is what they're doing, these bottom feeder lawyers. This is what they're doing, slip and fall. Can you imagine that? So the insurance companies, they know they're going to pay their limit to begin with. And after that, they don't care. So going in, they hire the cheapest lawyers they can. They don't settle the case because these other people are greedy and want tons of money. They go to court with the cheapest lawyers they could get because they say, why invest in the case? We're going to lose anyway. They know the way the judges fix the juries. The judges set up the juries before the lawyers even get to them. They put the people on according to the verdict that they want, plaintiff or defendant. So the insurance companies are saying, well, let's just hire the cheapest lawyers. We're going to pay the limit anyway, so the hell with it. And that's what they do. That's part of what's going on. So you got to say, the veterinarians in private practice had to put up with all this too. At some point, they get fed up. At some point, the labor laws, the bottom feeder attorneys, everybody makes the veterinary business unattractive. And I can understand it's not just they're so greedy they sell out. They're fed up. They did this for the animals and they're getting killed by a rotten system, a system of judicial fraud, judges and lawyers. And who's making the money? The judges and the lawyers. But 58 million for slip and fall. Well, you know, no wonder these poor guys sell out. What we've got to do is break up the conglomerates. We've got to break up Mars and JBA the way they broke up AT&T. Then you got to work down. You got to break up Banfield. You got to break up VCA. You got to break up these. You got to break up the companies that bought up all the vet practices. What they're doing is monopolizing veterinary medicine. It's not only illegal, it's immoral as hell. It's one of the most immoral things that the human race can do is withhold veterinary medicine. Withholding medicine from animals who need it, who have nobody. They have nobody, and they're withholding medicine from animals. Anyway, it starts with sticker shock. I know what things cost. I pay for them here. I know what they cost. It's a fraction of what you're paying. A tiny, tiny fraction. We have an ultrasound machine. We've had it for years. And when you need to take an ultrasound, you put the animal down on the table. Sometimes you shave them, mostly you don't. You take an ultrasound. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Comes up on the screen, you watch the video, you diagnose. We own the machine. It's the veterinarian's time. So for 10 minutes, so what does it cost? $50 maybe? $10 really, but $50? But they'll charge you $400 or $500 for an ultrasound. Just everything. The sticker shock, I know what it costs. And I know what you're paying. And you're getting screwed royally. And you have no choice. You're willing to do anything to save your animal. So will I. I did. I've done it. Had to go to specialists and pay through the nose. And I saw the bill and I saw the holy crap. I've also seen failures. We paid for failures. One of my personal dogs, I went to VCA. Personal dog went to a cardiologist at VCA because this was a specialist. And we knew she had a heart problem. I wanted to evaluate her heart problem. And so she went to VCA. they did ultrasound, and the guy read it, the cardiologist. And she was a wreck from leaving and from having to go to the hospital and whatever they did to her to do ultrasound. And the cardiologist gave us a quick note, said he'll send the rest. Basically, she's fine. She doesn't have any issues. He won't change anything. She's doing fine. So within the hour, she's back here at our place. And she came out of the carrier, little Pomeranian. Beautiful dog, we loved her. She came out of the carrier onto the table to get her ready to come home, and she died. She keeled over and died on the table from the stress of having gone through what they put her through, we don't know, but the stress of getting the ultrasound at VCA, and the specialist at VCA that charged us full bore, by the way, the specialist telling us that she doesn't have a heart problem. And she died of a heart attack on the table here. We didn't even get a chance to hug her and say, welcome back. That's VCA. Anyway, please pass this video around. We didn't get to talk much about my dogs, but I hope you get to see them. Now, the other two are very friendly. These three are shy. They came out of the same mother. They've got the same father. So, well, how come these three are shy and the other two are not? Well, probably one, the brown one, Luxor, probably he was shy from the beginning, and he might have taught the others. They learn from each other. Once we leave here, they'll come up to the fence and I'll give them treats. And they'll come and take the treats. Not Luxor, I have to throw them to them. But I want to say I hope you enjoyed this video. And I don't think you will. I don't think you'll enjoy it, or you're not hearing what I'm saying. But I think you should pass this to everybody you know. Take the link. Just take the link and send it by email. Send it to your phone and send it to your people on your text list. Have them watch this and have them see for real what's going on. And again, I am, let's say, I'm like one of those, what do they call them? The guy on the inside, whistleblower. My God, this vaccine costs $3 and they're charging you $75. My God, this costs $10 and they're charging you $300. My God, you have these three things that you don't need to diagnose what's wrong. We already know. But you're going to pay, because that's what VCA says you're going to pay, or Banfield, or the others. They say you're going to pay this walking in the door. Oh, here's one. Here's a final thought. This is the saddest thing of the whole bloody mess. Somebody wrote to me, and they were at one of these places, I forget which one, but they're one of these ripoffs. And I tell people the most important moment in your animal's life, in your little angel's life, the most important moment is when you're putting her to sleep. If it's done correctly, it goes smoothly. But if your little guy needs you more than ever, it's going to be checking out. And I found this. Somebody said to put my little whatever down, whatever size little head, they go by the pounds. They go by how much it weighs. And I got to tell you, every ml of euthanol, every ml is for 10 pounds. So if you have a 50-pound dog, there's 5 mLs. What's the difference between 30 and 50? A couple bucks. But for them, it's $100. 30-pound dog might be 150. 50-pound dog will be $250. What? This is crazy. This is what they're charging. But again, the poor little guy is checking out. He knows he's dying. He knows you're there with him, and he's comforted. It's important. And here's what the guy said. If they took my little Fluffian back and euthanized her, it would be $75. Must have been a small dog. If I wanted to go back and hold her it's $350. Think about that. Think about that. Your relative is dying in the hospital, and you're there, and it costs what it costs, and your relative dies, and you're there comforting the relative. And what if the hospital said, well, if you don't leave now, we're going to charge you $3,000 to sit here and be with her? You'd go nuts. Well, that's what they're doing here. One of these corporations, whatever size dog it was, $75 to put him down, $350 if you come back with him. This has to stop. This has to end. This has to end. And you politicians that are getting paid off to allow this. Oh yeah, one more thing. I keep remembering one more thing. You're going to love this. You won't understand this because it's very complex. But at least in California, the Veterinary Medical Board has new rules. Let's just say this. I won't tell you the rules and the shenanigans. Let me just tell you the bottom line. The bottom line is, if you don't take your pet to one of these corporate veterinarians, your animal will be put down. I'm going to leave you with that, because that's as bad as charging you to be with them. If you don't follow the new rules, which make you have to go to a corporate veterinarian, then your animal will be put down under certain circumstances. They have a grip on them, and there's a way to do it. Well, it's my animal, it's in my house or whatever. Well, you discuss that with your lawyer, but the fact is, the Veterinary Medical Board, it's sort of like the federal one, for the people. RFK's in there ripping it apart. The Vet Med Board, who's on the Vet Med Board? How did they get there? How are they able to exist? Oh, let's just say the equivalent of lobbyists. Who are the lobbyists from? The lobbyists are from corporate vets. And they want to change the rules, and they did. Under certain circumstances, if you do not take your animal to one of these veterinarians, your animal will be confiscated and killed. That'll be not only another video, but probably another year before I get into that. Because we're at war right now. All of us who have animals, including you, are at war now. Maybe you don't know it. Maybe you think, I'll just wait and see what happens. Well, it's already happened, and if you don't fight, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. That's what they say. You've got to get together, pass this video around to everybody you know. People that you don't know, but you have their email address, send it to them. Tell them this is about the life of your pet and what's going on in the veterinary world. And with that, I better sign off so I could give these dogs some treats. The poor things. I haven't seen them. They're behind me somehow. I'll give you another one. At least you didn't end up, and I'm serious, he didn't end up in a wet market roasted. They roast dogs, and they line them up like they roast pigs. They line up dogs in Asia, roasted, so you can come and buy a whole dog or pieces of a dog. And they want the nice big ones like this guy here. I go to Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now, my favorite quote. I'm paraphrasing. When it came to the end of the movie, Marlon Brando was assassinated, and he left a note. He left a note, and his note was pretty much, nuke them all. And so, like I tell people, my one great hope is that the scientists are right, and that in 2 billion years, the Earth will spin into the sun. Because it shouldn't go on like this. And I'm an optimist. Look at you guys. Oh, you're beautiful. We're going to move you to a flat yard with shade. No more of this. You're not puppies anymore.